Yes, so greetings to all Crucian Massive, VI Massive, Rock City, St. John Massive. And today we have a very sensitive subject that we are going to be talking about: the killings of Jordan Jones, aka Dutty. Stay tuned after this intro. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. First, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Zion Albert with Lionwoods Productions. I was raised up in the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix. I was born in the West Indies of Dominica. Now, today we're going to talk about the recent killing of Jordan Jones, aka. First, let me start off by giving you a quick synopsis of my life growing up in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Growing up in the Virgin Islands, my father was very, very strict in terms of, I would not be able to go by my friend's house to sleep over, and I couldn't really have friends over to the house neither, and I couldn't really go nowhere. I felt like a prisoner. And growing up, I realized that all he was really trying to do was to protect me from the streets down there, because at the time, even back then, there was a lot of killing. I lost a lot of friends. I could name a few: Ronaldo, Kareem, Ajamo, and some people who are watching this video right now, I'm sure you guys can relate. We've lost a lot of people over the years, and this was just young teens, 16 years old, because it was around my age at the time. So it always bothered me, you know what I mean? And I always wanted to create like a blog, a platform on YouTube to talk about things, and I wasn't for sure when I was going to do it, but I said, you know what, it's time to speak out. It's time to get on here. It's time to share my thoughts with the world, with the VI Massive, and hopefully you guys can share your thoughts with me as well. And today we're going to be talking about Jordan Jones, aka the comedian Dutty. Recently, we heard about his shooting. We heard about the killings, and one of my friends reached out to me on Facebook. And he's a brother who don't like the violence that's going on in the Virgin Islands, and I don't like the violence that's going on in the Virgin Islands neither. And as a reggae artist, we've been singing music and the message about peace, love, and unity for so long, and this is the music that we've been spreading, and I basically wanted to come here on my platform today to talk a little bit more about the recent killing. Now, a friend of mine reached out to me and told me that, brother, another senseless killing in St. Croix. And I say, wow, who it is now? I hope that it's somebody I don't know. I mean, I know it sounds bad saying that, but at the same time, you know how it is, man. We just don't like it. And he reached out and he said, yeah, man, it was a comedian, brother. He goes by the name of Dutty. And I say, well, I did not know who Dutty. So I went on Google and researched it for myself. And then this morning, my sister called me and told me about it. She said, man, this guy, he was a very nice guy, and he was a good person, and he makes people laugh, and he was funny. And I told her, man, I did not even know and realize that St. Croix, had a platform for comedy, because I've been living in the United States for a long time. But anyway, and it hit me, like, why a man rob another man for his jewelry, something that is vanity, that can be replaced. Something that can be replaced. Now, I'm not condoning robbery, but if you're gonna rob a man and take his chain, in my opinion, why take the man's life? Because life is something that is precious. You cannot buy, or you cannot give back. You cannot give back somebody back their soul and their life. You can replace jewelry, you can replace car, you can replace houses and everything, but you can't replace a man's life. So sometimes I sit down and wonder, I think to myself, man, what is wrong with the youth them of today in the Virgin Islands? Why there is so much? What's going on with the youth them mind? A place that for as far as I remember, that was taught morals, that was taught discipline in school from our parents' house, you know. And it shocked me that the Caribbean islands have so much violence when there is so much good people who are raising up the children, you know, like, you know, people who are, you know, enforcing peace and love and, you know, respect. And I never understood why. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if it's because some of the youth them don't have a father figure to, you know, and then their mom, single mother, is raising them up, and you know they get mixed up in the world where friends influence them to do certain things. And you know, because a lot of children I know, they raise up good with respect and they still turn out to be bad. But a lot of it came from bad influences. A lot of it came from peer pressure. A lot of it came from the people that you was hanging around. You know what I mean? It almost seems to me like killing has become like a trend in the U.S. Virgin Islands, from St. Thomas to St. Croix. I don't really know too much about St. John because I never really visited St. John. I've visited St. Thomas, I've visited St. Croix. But it seems like that this has become a trend right now. You know, killing. No, you take the man's life, right, over a chain. You were young, 15 years old, that's what I was told. You know, the brother who did the killing was 15 years old. Now you got to go face the juries, the judges, over a chain that you didn't get to keep, and then you took a man's soul. Now you have to face the consequence now for your actions. You might be going to prison. You might get the death penalty. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Now your whole life has been destroyed over one wrong decision that you made. You know what I mean? One wrong move that you made. So if you're watching this video right now, people, and there is somebody out here who have intentions of doing wrong to somebody else, man, think twice before you do it, man. Think about the consequence down the road, where it can lead you to. It can lead you either to the grave or to prison cells. See? You know? And you know, I feel for the youth who did this senseless killing too, because now your mother has lost you. Your father, if you have a father, has lost you right now. You know what I mean? Now you might be going to prison for the rest of your life. You know? And it's sad. All around it's sad. Because that was not called for, my brother. That was not called for, man. Taking an innocent life because you see a man with something flashy. You know what I mean? If you're gonna rob the man, you take the chain, it can be replaced. But to take the man's life, and beside that, if you're gonna rob somebody, who knows? There may have been a struggle. There may have been a fight, because some people are very, you know, close to what they have spent money on, and I get it. A man tried to rob you, you know, first of all, it's disrespectful to you. You know what I mean? And you might defend yourself just because that's human nature. And who knows? That's probably when the gun came out and he got shot. You know? But to the youth them out there who is doing all them senseless killing in the U.S. Virgin Islands, it need to stop. It really needs to stop, man. Because really and truly, the senseless killing gets you nowhere. Nowhere whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up either in prison or somebody else is going to come after you, you know. Because like what you sow is what you're going to reap. My father always tell me, you know, however you make your bed is how you're going to lay in it. So my brother, if violence is the way for you, violence will follow you. You put out negativity, negativity will follow you. It's just a matter of time. So think twice before you pull the trigger. Zin. I remember a couple years back I wrote this song called Rock City, Cruise and Massive, me tell you, put down the gun. Put down the gun, yo. Rock City, Cruise and Massive, me tell you, put down the gun. Put down the gun, yo. I never released that song. I wrote it, I was young, maybe around like, I would say around in my 20s, you know. I wrote that song, never released it. But really and truly, it hurts me to see what's going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands with the youth them. It hurts me to see the senseless killing that's going on St. Croix. It doesn't make any sense. See, I know a lot of Crucian massive, Rock City massive. I know a lot of are you tired of all the violence and all the crime that going on around the place. Sometimes you sit down and you ask yourself like, why them man not killing one another that way? You see what I'm saying? Who raised them youth? Where them youth they come from? In my time when I was growing up, you know, I mean, in Dominica growing up, we didn't have them things. And it seems like the whole Caribbean island from Jamaica to all over the place, gunman everywhere. You check what I'm saying? Now you rob a man for a chain, right? A chain, materialistic things that has no value to a man's life. Zin, a man's life has value. A man's life has purpose. And you can never buy back a man's soul, and you can never buy back a man's life. You see what I'm saying? So my brother, you know, think twice before you take another man's life. Think twice before you pull the trigger. Zin, think about the consequences. Because there's only two places you can end up, you know. Is either one, in the grave, or in the prison cell. Zin, now you take this man's life over a chain. You see what I'm saying? You take his life over a chain. Now guess what? Now you have to go stand up in front of judges and jury. Zin. And the man gonna tell you what your fate is. You know what I mean? They're gonna show you, well, now you gotta go sit down. Either you're gonna go sit down in a prison cell for the rest of your life over one stupid mistake that you did. One silly mistake that you did. Me, you know if it's the music the man to be listening to, or if the man to be on drugs, or if it's bad influence, or you never had a father figure in your life. Because I know some single mothers raise up the child, you know, and they raise up the child to be good, but sometimes influences from other places, you know what I mean, influence the youth them to do certain things, you know. So some youth them man had discipline from since the man been young, but the man raised up to be bad for some reason, you know what I mean. Me really know what the situation is, but sometimes I sit down and ask myself what it is going on in them places, why it is going on in St.Croix, why the man killing so much, why so much killing? Every other day you hear them somebody get shot. I lost a whole heap of friends when I was coming up, and my father used to always be like, you know, he didn't want me to go certain places. You check what I'm saying? Because the reason why all them killing that the man had, I didn't understand what was going on, why my father didn't want me to hang around certain people when I was young. But growing up, I started to realize that he was protecting me from the streets because he knew already what was out there. I didn't. Zin. So thanks Jah that I had a father like this man, and I actually listened and pay attention to everything he was saying. Besides, he brought me around older brethren, twice my age at the time. I was 16, the man was like 40, 50, 60 years old. Some of the man was even 80 years old, giving me knowledge. You check what I'm saying? Wisdom. You know what I mean? So I start to separate myself from certain people and just start listening to my father. You check what I'm saying? So youths out there, think twice before you pull the trigger, because it's wrong, it's hurtful. Now a mother is crying over her son's life that you took. You check what I'm saying? Friends are hurting right now. Whenever you take a life, you're not just destroying that person's life, you know, my youth. You're destroying loved ones' heart. You're breaking hearts. And Jah don't like them things. You check what I'm saying? Jah don't like them things because them things are immoral. You know what I mean? Jah didn't make us for us to be killing one another. You didn't give life. And who are you to take life? You know what I mean? We sing it in reggae music all the time, you know. One of the reasons I came on here is because for years I wanted to make some blogs. For years I wanted to, you know, talk about violence and different things. And I had so much going on within the music, I didn't really have time to do it. You know, excuse me, something just dropped. All right, I'm back again. So with the music, I said, okay, you know, I wanted to use my platform to spread positivity. And this is what I'm doing right now. So please join the community with me. Like, share, subscribe. You know what I mean? Tell me how you feel about this whole situation with, you know, Dutty Heart in St. Croix. Let me know how you feel about it. Leave a comment and keep it positive, people. Because we don't want no negativity, sin. We want everything to be positive. Stay positive. Express your thoughts and your emotions. Let's create a beautiful community where we can come together and find a solution to this problem, because this is a serious problem and we really need to talk about it. We really need to get down to the bottom of the barrel. You see what I'm saying? And talk to the youth them. You check what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We gotta find a way and find out what is the problem. Because there's a problem in St. Croix. There's a problem in Rock City. Too much gunman and too much man getting shot. You see? So, in my ending, I would say to you, man, let's promote peace, love, and unity. Sin? Rest in peace, brethren. Sin? May Jah bless your soul. And I pray for your family, that Jah will give you guys comfort in this time of grief. Jah bless. Keep it positive. Yes, I respect.